just have over 50 kilometres to go. The gap has not been given to these four riders in front. De Vries of Astana just coming through. Rompot in the orange is Reinders, Allegard, and Neil Pro for Sport Flandern in the white, and in the dark blue McNally from Wanty Group Hubert. So the four of them haven't got more than 2 minutes, and with three teams of Lotto NL, Jumbo, Bora, Hansgrohe and Quickstep Floors riding on the front of their sprinters, I think everybody knows it's going to come down to that sprint in the end. But I think McNally, ridden this race before, done well in this race. I think he'll be thinking of probably trying to take this Primus black jersey, the sprints competition.
I think he will. Primus, is it the Holiday Gas Company? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, it's the Primus checkpoint sprint. And in fact, it'll be first time across the finish line. So you're getting a preview of it right now because they're only 11 kilometres. That's the breakaway, that is. A little bit further behind, in fact, a minute 26 behind are the pack as you look at them right now. So we're coming into town, and as you can see, when you've got some flat land that you've reclaimed, you may as well just use it. And the shortest way from A to B is on a straight line, and that's precisely what we've got at the moment. This is Belgium, of course, and the Netherlands, where we are playing. It's the Netherlands today and indeed tomorrow for the time trial. Then it's into destination Ardoi for the sprint on stage 3. Another sprinter's day to Langen on stage 4. And then things start to roll back into the Netherlands, destination Zittau, for what is essentially the Amstel Gold Race day. That's stage 5. The Liège-Bastogne-Liège day is back in Belgium at stage 6. And then, of course, the Flanders Day with Gerardsbergen, the destination for our finale next Sunday. Primus, by the way, is a beer. And I understand, don't you win your weight in beer? I think they do. Rather handily, 1 litre is exactly equal to 1 kilo. It's one of those little serendipitous, rather nice mathematical things that the burghers in charge of metrication decided to adopt on behalf of everybody that went metric. So a litre weighs 1 kilogram. So basically what they do is the winner of the Primus gets weighed, and you go way, especially if you're a big lad, because you win more beer. There we are. I'd win a lot more beer than you, Brian, especially these days.
Yeah, but I would put some bidons in my jersey down the back.
I can just imagine Brian turning up with lead trousers if he was going to get weighed for that. But anyway,
I'd find a way to get something. I'm a Scottish person after all.
Here we are. Well, it's a German person that is pushing on for us right now. Our German champion for Bora is indeed eating into the terrain. Quickstep, Lotto Jumbo, they're all playing today. And in fact, no surprise when you look at their lineup. For me, though, the best lead-out is going to be for Magnus Cort Nielsen. He's got, and get this, he's got Jens Kirkelaar working for him, Mitch Docker, Alexander Edmondson, Michael Hepburn, Simon Gerrans, Roger Kluger, and then himself. I think Sam Bewley's allowed a day off today. But that is just remarkable in terms of a lead-out. If Magnus Cort Nielsen doesn't deliver, then there'll be some grumbles and some bread buns thrown over the soup this evening. Sky have got Viviani, of course. Edward Toons, what about him with Trek Segafredo? Jesper Stuyven, I think, is their chosen son overall, but why not Ted?
I think so. The two of them are there. He finished, I think he was 5th in the Euros yesterday.
Yep.
So he's obviously got some good form, but Stuyven, we know what he can do as well, very strong. But I think that team, I think Stuyven could be looking more for the overall victory. He is very good getting over some of the sharp climbs, and I think Stuyven is strong enough to look at that. And looking at that team, they've got a strong team. Boy Van Poppel was starting to go well as well. And I think it was Poland who was riding, and Magnus Cort Nielsen I think would be their favoured one for probably this sprint today.
It's interesting, Bahrain Merida and Movistar are just lurking there behind the quick men's teams, and they're the two teams where I haven't really highlighted the sprinter. With all respect to Gregor Boller for Bahrain Merida, and indeed potentially on a long one, someone like Rory Sutherland who could get a cheeky one, but for Movistar. But to be honest, they are looking overall Right now, Ilio Kaiser, with his familiar form, is doing a lot of work. He's been busy this year. When not racing on the World Tour, he's been busy with the Napoleon Cup Series, which is a series in this part of the world as well, where they're all of a sudden extending the season beyond the classics, Brian, in order to include what is essentially a championship of baby classics.
Yes, there's a few things happening in cycling where they're trying to kind of group together some races. In the Napoleon Cup are grouping together races in Belgium. You've got the Coupe de France in France, funny enough, and then you've got the Flanders Classics. Not funny enough, all in Flanders, because they are looking outside of that, but majority of it is the Flanders Classics, the races in Flanders, but they are looking at other races, and yeah, it's a nice concept, and I know there's another group of people looking to do something maybe in a more international scale where they're bringing races in from kind of different countries and having maybe some of the, as you say, the B races, bringing them into like a Napoleon Cup, like Flanders Classics, and having a kind of wee kind of overall within it, different races throughout the year.
Yeah, so essentially you have a championship of these minor races, and I say minor, and it's no disrespect to them. I mean, races like the Samin are big news if you nail something like that. In fact, you get some real stars who are essentially just part of their program is to do something along those lines to build up for other races. And I'm not demeaning those races at all, but they have a great place within the championship, I think.
If you put some good races in against maybe not so good races, the other races kind of are brought up to that level. So if it's kind of one organising committee, then it's kind of sponsorship throughout the whole series. Like the Flanders Classics have all kind of taken a step up. And I think anybody else looking at that, the smaller races, like you say, it adds a little bit of firepower to the platform that they've already got, and it just kind of helps them along the way and it solidifies that event. Although it might not be a huge event now, and some of these events do struggle commercially. So if they're becoming part of a series, then they'll be helped. And a series of events, when you go to a sponsor, appeals to a sponsor more than maybe just one event. So instead of maybe 10 or 12 individual races and looking for their own sponsor, pull it all together, do the commercial rights across all of them, try and get them to TV. And it's not the only sport that looks at this. I know that other sports look at it, because you look at other televised sports, you think, there's hardly anybody watching, why is it on television? Well, they've already got maybe a bigger event that they've put it all in as one kind of block. And yeah, there's obviously a lot behind it with commercial and TV rights and various other things.
Works for me. Working hard, Andrew Greipel just getting himself back in. Not sure what the technical issue is. Potentially, of course, as always, the dreaded puncture, but he's back in, looks comfortable. In fact, he didn't like the camera around him, which is quite good, so he gave us a sneer. We like that. 4 out front, in case you missed the top of the show. That was Piet Alligert, the 22-year-old, 17th in the Paris-Roubaix, by the way, so he's really getting a top 20. An event such as that is something special. He's here as team principal for Sport Vlaanderen. We have Almar Reinders in the orange up front of the break. He was 8th in the Trois d'Or as well. De Vries from Astana and McNally from one team.
What is this place?
A modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation. Is this where we come to compete? This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. Put mine back on. owner reviews on our website. Isn't it time you got in on the action? You do the maths.
Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither while they pass, they slip away across the universe. Trying nothing's gonna change my world.
Minute 9 to a breakaway of 4, and that's because we're on the approach to the start-finish line today. We have a Primus checkpoint sprint, and then a little later on we will have the Golden Kilometre. Now it's all part of a loop that we'll be doing twice. So we're going to cross the finish line 3 times today. The first time we will have our Primus sprint just after it, about 4 kilometres after, by the way. So we cross the start-finish line, then we have our Primus sprint, which these guys are likely to contest. However, the Golden Kilometre itself is far more important because it's 3 sprints locked into 1 kilometre, and I think this has a place in races beyond this event, formerly the Eneco, now the Binckbank Tour, of course. Yes, it's 3, 2 and 1 seconds available 3 times, all within a Golden Kilometre. So essentially, you are living the dream, as Lotto would say here, if you're a sprinter. So the gap, I'm afraid, to our break has tumbled. It's now down to just 1 minute and 4, and indeed that is the Golden Kilometre that we'll be doing. It counts next time by. So in 20 kilometres time, this is going to be hell for leather. You will suddenly start your, what is it, the Limburg Live 1 kilometre Golden Kilo. So 9 seconds up for grabs, plus 10 seconds bonus at the line if you go on to win it as a sprinter. So the sprinters will essentially, I think, be extremely busy. It all bodes for a very, very lively finale to what otherwise would have been a quiet day. It's a great idea, Brian.
Yeah, very much looks like that. I know it hasn't changed overall victory in the last few editions that the Golden Kilometre has been involved, but it makes it, I think, the first few days of this tour a little bit more exciting. Otherwise, a lot of these riders will just be waiting for the finish, so we do get a little bit of action with this Golden Kilometre. So it has added interest, but I'm not too sure that the peloton really want to bring these 4 riders back. I don't think they want to get involved with the Golden Kilometre because, as you say, it pulls into play a lot more of the sprinters who are looking at taking the leader's jersey in this race when we get to the finish. So these 4 riders are coming up to the first passage of the line, and that's De Vries at the back for Astana. At the front there you've got Allegard for Sport Vlaanderen, the 22-year-old Belgian Neo-Pro, as Carl says, finished 17th this year in Paris-Roubaix. Reinders for Rundfahrt in the orange, and our very own Mark McNally from Wanty Group Gobert, the 28-year-old Brit.
Reinders got a fantastic top 10 finish as well. Our friend from Rundfahrt here, it looks like he's going to come across the start-finish line here today. First, there we are. And so we'll see that on 2 more occasions. No points for that one, but any moment now we're going to have our Primus checkpoint sprint. Primus being beer. Yes, I thought it was camping gas, but apparently it's another company. So this one, you don't get a bottle of gas. You get, apparently, your weight in Primus beer, which is well worth going for, particularly if you're me. Meanwhile, further back, just about a minute adrift, they are powering into this one. Now, this is Bora Hansgrohe with Marcus Burkhardt working hard today, along with Fixen and Andreas Schillinger. Rudiger Zelig, they're having fun, all on behalf of Peter Sagan, who is going to be busy at the end of today. He may well, I believe, anyway, have a go at this Golden Kilo, because I think they may well just have a go at the breakaway in time for that, and then carry it home, because the Golden Kilometre is 23 k's out. I guess if Brian was to be absolutely nailed on correct, if it was about 28 k's out, I think they would let them go. That's just about on the cusp of when they would like to be there. As the cat and mouse amusement arcade. I don't find these things terribly amusing at all. experience as I've had in Blackpool, but anyway. Good job I could grip. But anyway, big lad in a small cage. It's not a funny thing. So we have. I hope we're not going to miss it. Our Primus checkpoint sprint is coming up. This is an entirely separate competition with no time bonuses, which allows a breakaway to have some fun out there. And I hope we're going to get up to the front and actually see it, as opposed to these people being rather ill.
Fun and games this race.
You know, if they've got any spare change there, they're not going to have any spare change in a moment. Look at that. Is that your idea of fun, Brian? Not in your current state, obviously.
Well, it might help, actually.
Brian's carrying a kidney stone. It's about the size of a boulder. Apparently, last night's attempted operation failed due to the size of it. Any idea of scale?
No, I didn't ask.
Do you know what? We've actually been through the Primus sprint while they were busy messing around.
No, it comes at
Beg your pardon.
37.4 to go.
Thank you. You were scribbling. I should have noticed. So we've actually got 3Ks to go. We're not in danger. Did they give you a scale on your rock?
No, they didn't.
Here we go. 82 on the Mondial. 82 on the Mondial decide to mix it up. They're not happy with the sprinters just having their own fun, and so they're going to cause this, which is a display of ambition, Brian, for those who are looking further down the line, and the response is automatic from the sprinters teams. They can't afford to let this go away.
Yeah, it's getting interesting. The sprinters teams have brought this down, and now we get AG2R going on the attack, and with the likes of Jan Bakelands there, the Belgian at the front, so it's getting interesting. 43 seconds, and like you said, one of the teams that hasn't come with an out-and-out sprinter, I'm pretty sure that Oliver Mason, the Belgian champion, would be interested in doing something. So yeah, just when we thought that the peloton were just sitting there nicely, I think Kajsa was even a little bit surprised there. He looked behind and said, "What are you guys doing?" And up to tempo, and now we see the peloton on one long line, and this doesn't really bode well for the riders in front now, because this gap will come down, and we are going to see a golden kilometre possibly fought out by the peloton.
Thank you. As predicted by moi,
Yes,
and dismissed by you.
Yes, yeah, I never thought AG2R would do this.
Well, Rudy Barbier fancies it. He wants to build up some extra bonus seconds in the intermediate. I think that's the point. There are some very, very good sprinters here, Brian, that are not necessarily top draw. Okay, we've got the absolute top draw here with Marcel Kittel, Andre Greipel, we've got Viviani, we've got Arnaud Demar, of course, who's looking a little bit chipper in the French tricolour as well. We've got other very quick men, of course, Dylan Groenewegen. I don't even mean to say the word other when I say his name. Peter Sagan, Edward Tones, Phil Bauhaus. But then you start to factor in the likes of Jens Kerkelaar, Magnus Cort Nielsen, Minali, Gardini, Dupont, De Haas, Van Lerbeck, who's been going brilliantly this season, Rudy Barbier, the aforementioned. That was what that was all about. Jan Bakeland said, "Come on then, Rudy, let's make this a rude one, shall we?" And the sprinters teams fight back. The gap, though, is down to 36 seconds. So we will have a Primus intermediate sprint, but I think by the golden kilometre, somebody's going to be tempted amongst those fast men. They want to put something in the bank, Brian, and it's easy money, or easy time if you like, if the main sprinters teams don't follow you on. They're forced to do so.
Yeah, but look at the AG2R now. Philip Gilbert just going, "Oh, no, talking to Bakelands. They don't like this." A call out to all the sprinters from the sports directors there was like, "You might have to come up to the front, you might have to sprint," and a few of them went, no. So I think this gap may extend after this Primus sprint. I'm not too sure that the peloton really wants these back. The majority of peloton, apart from AG2R.
Yeah, well, you just wait. I think Team Orica Scott might have a dig as well. So they pick it up. This is for the Primus Intermediate. We're about 500 metres away, according to my GPS. But then again, you never know where the barrier man is going to...
There's the flags.
I realise that, but I don't think that's 500 metres. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, it's 400 now. Anyway, they're winding it up, having a crack. De Vries looks most lively. He goes over the top. Reinders can't respond in the orange here, and it looks like a duke out between Alligaert out front, not to be discounted. Mark McNally starts to get engaged as well. In fact, they're all in a line. Fantastic. Great effort. Primus sprint not quite there just in time. It's Alligaert who gets there. Well, we said he was strong. 17th in Paris-Roubaix. He's 22 years of age. He's old enough to drink beer, and now he's won some.
That was nice sprint, because he went in the inside there. We're going to see it again. De Vries tries to come over on him and pose a little bit, but the door was still open. He came in the inside. It looks like McNally just got second there with the Rompot rider Reiners getting thirds, and the rider that went first, De Vries, ended up in fourth.
Yep, he did. In fact, he tried to close one door and opened up another. So he tried to shut down Alligaert on his left. In fact, it was ours as well in that rear view. Of course, there's a bit of a stare down going on right now. De Vries then, I'm afraid, grabbed at the dry sand and it all just ran between his fingers.
Look at that, Carlton have set up.
How dare they? This is our own Who Buys the Sandwich competition going on right now. And so there it is.
Tablet.
Yes. Thank you so much. I've got to just check who it was that sent me the tablet. We got it today as we came along. It was sent onwards to us by Eurosport. Thank you very much. Scottish tablet. We have really enjoyed chomping on that. It's a mixture. It's a bit fudge-like. Essentially,
It's Scottish tablet. It's not fudge.
Okay, there you go, Brian.
Just like I butchered the name from outside it. Liverpool, what was it called?
Fazakli.
Yeah.
Fazakli, it sounds like exactly.
I've never been banned from that town.
And what did you call it?
I'm not saying it.
Fazakirli. I think you did. The curly phaser was one that didn't work in Star Trek. But Fazakli is where Mark McNally is from wanting where? In Scousland, where, of course, all my blood comes from. 35.8 kilometres, and you're right, Brian, it's extended very, very slightly, but I think there's some cheeky chaps here who would like to get involved if it comes down to that golden kilo. We'll see, because we've got
one to play.
yeah, exactly, but I think some of the lesser sprinters do want to play. That's the point. Well, there are other punishments. 52 seconds then. it is the gap from the main body of the peloton at the moment, which looks on lockdown mode, I must admit, and those out front, so it looks like it's going to spin out to more than a minute. Let's give him a minute and a half, shall we, before the charge down happens yet again. The golden kilo comes up in about 12 kilometres time, so we're going to take ourselves a break, and we will be back with you here on the Binckbank tour after this.
What is this place?
The modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation. Is this where we come to compete? This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. Put mine back on. Buckle up. Got this? Beautiful. Start eastward. Overdrive. Register today at Elite Singles and benefit from 100% verified profiles, an extensive personality test, and tailored matches. EliteSingles.co.uk.
The Brownlee brothers are the most competitive brothers in the world. If Alistair Brownlee could have beaten his brother on these sumptuous Aldi barbecue favourites by shopping for brands in the big four supermarkets, he would. But because he couldn't, he has to serve the drinks. Swap and win gold with Aldi's amazing summer.
Right now is a great time to join BT Mobile. It starts at just £5 a month if you've got BT broadband at home, and you can get online with fast 4G and Wi-Fi hotspots in more places than any other mobile provider. You can get 500 megabytes of data with our great value starter SIM for just £5 a month. If you need more, our Essential SIM has 3 gigabytes of data for £11 a month. Then there's our Ultimate SIM, fully loaded with 15 gigabytes of data for just £20 a month. Anyone can get a great deal with BT Mobile. With a great range of SIM-only plans to choose from, you're bound to find the right one for you. Call 0800 456 1456 or visit bt.com/SIMO.
RAC fix 4 out of 5 cars at the roadside on average in just 30 minutes. Get cover for just $34.99 at rac.co.uk.
Sup, player? You thinking it's too much hassle switching energy supplies, even though it could save you hundreds of pounds? With your switch,
It's a lonely break that's decided to make themselves a bit more lonely. In fact, it's at the behest of the peloton, who, as Brian predicted, have said, what's all this nonsense from AG2 Mondial packing in? They've been under a lot of pressure to behave themselves. In other words, leave it to the primary sprinters at the end of the day. We'll see whether anyone else makes a break for it today. I'm thinking someone like Dimension Data. They're up towards the front. They've got Mark Renshaw and Tyler Farrar there as a good engine room. I think Ryan Gibbons and Christian Sparagli may well be a bit of a choice for them today. We'll see. That's Matthias Brandley, who can time trial a bit, but Edward Tones is their man, I think, today, despite the ambitions of Jesper Stuyven. There's a lot of bonuses in this race, Brian, and that's what keeps it fascinating.
It is, especially for the first few days, and we get an opportunity to see maybe a surprise person in the yellow jersey, and not the yellow jersey, the leader's jersey, for the first time, and it's happened in the Eneco in the past. We've had one of the second division teams hold the leader's jersey, courtesy of the bonus sprints. And yeah, it's interesting over the next few days, but once we get into the hills and the last three stages, I don't think the bonus sprints come into play. But with a 9-kilometre time trial this year, it might happen.
Just looking at Team Katusha, Tony Martin, who's won this race in the past, when we have longer time trials, by the way. Our time trial this year is tomorrow. And last year, when it was named the Eneco Tour, Binckbank this year, as it will be for a number of years to come, hopefully. There was a team time trial last year in preparation for the Olympics, so it drew a lot of teams who were basically practicing for Rio and enjoyed themselves. However, they've stripped out the team time trial and they've reduced the individual time trial. Now, to me, that acts against Marcel Kittel, who started off at the top of this race at 400 to 1. So you couldn't get more of a rank outsider. However, they've dialed down some of the climbs as well, and Marcel Kittel can time trial, so he's not going to lose too much time, I don't think, in tomorrow's 9-kilometre time trial, and he might be better than a lot of people think. And if his little shoulders are back where they should be, as in not drooping after the Tour de France where he was in for the green jersey competition, but in my opinion it was sheer exhaustion that took him out of it, having taken 5-stage wins. He's back, and this morning, despite the fact he could not rack his bike, he was like wandering around trying to find a place for the back wheel at the sign-on, he seems in good spirits. And in fact, both he and the other great Germans who are here, Tony Martin, who's mustering at the front at the moment, by the way, and Andrew Greipel, may well have a bit of a party together. We'll see. What about Katusha today? Tony Martin, he's just moved over to the left-hand side of the road. Baptiste Plancart, going to be working.
I'm not too sure. I think today's sprinter either could be Baptiste Plancart or the lead-out man for Norman Christoph is Rick Zabel, potentially. Over the last few years, this stage has been very messy in the first sprints, so I think today will be exactly the same. We've got so many good sprinters here, and we know some riders have come from the European Championships yesterday, some riders have come from Poland. We might see a surprise, and I think maybe Dimension Data with Ryan Gibbons is a not bad shout, because if you can remember last year, it was a bit of a surprise that Dylan Groenewegen won the stage and beat so many other top sprinters, and I think that was his kind of breakthrough, especially wearing the Dutch Champs jersey. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, but we could see some interesting riders getting up there in the sprint.
Ryan Gibbons had a great London as well, very, very strong. Could be a man.
Yeah, I think outsider-wise for sure, but when you mix in the other riders that have got really form and a point to prove, including Demar, Groenewegen would want to win again, Kittel, they've put their team on the front. Okay, they've knocked it off a little bit because the gap came down to about 36 seconds, and then it was decided that it was too close, and now it's a waiting game, and who's going to take it up? And I think the three teams that were taken up early were Lotto NL for Grunewig and Bora Hansgrohe for Sagan and Quick Step Floors for Kittel. They are just sitting back at the moment and waiting for other teams to try and take it up, and they're just vying for position and road space at the moment. Nobody's actually riding behind because this gap is creeping up even more.
What's remarkable is that they're staring each other down at the moment. Orica Scott have gone over to the right hand side of the road as we look at our breakaway here. They've gone over to the right hand side of the road. Team Katusha with Tony Martin, Plantgut, and the aforementioned Rick Zabel have gone over to the left hand side of the road. Dead centre, AEG Tour de Mondial, and here we are. Arnaud Demar has brought up Francis Dejeu as well, and there indeed is the French tricolore at the back of that line of talent as you look at it right now.
It's Kaiser. Kaiser's come to the front and gone, come on, I want to start riding again. Come on, sit in my wheel. No,
Yep.
Seriously, sit in my wheel. Well, okay, I'll slow up a bit, but sit in my wheel. I want to lead you. I want to ride on the fronts. I want to bring this back for my sprint with Kittel.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to play just yet.
It's hilarious. So there's mind games going on out there. There's a lot of teams who are getting themselves in a position to mark out any moves, Brian, which is why you've got colour order and lead-out trains right there, so that if they do wind in this breakaway, they're in a position to go for the kilo. Look at them. It's as if we're already coming into town.
Yeah, you can see the team cars trying to get past the peloton, go up and service the riders for the last time. And you get a lot of riders towards the back thinking, I tell you what, sprinters, have your day, right? Have your day, because the hills come towards the end of this race, and then it'll be reversal of roll. So there's a lot of the kind of climbing type riders sitting down the back. All the sprinting types are up towards the front, staring each other out. Kaiser's bossing them all, saying, sit in my wheel, I'll drag these 4 riders back for you.
It's hilarious. I'm looking at the conversation that's going on. There's Tony Martin as well, just behind Kaiser. Kaiser's on the radio. Where the heck are you? Trek Segafredo for Edward Toons coming in. This is fantastic. We have got such a busy race, all because they may not race for the golden kilo, but the reason it's so animated, Brian, is exactly because of it. They've all got to be very watchful of those around them, that nobody does an AG2 on the Mondial, as we saw a short while ago, trims off the front and decides to box it out for some bonus seconds.
Yeah, there's a try there by AG2R, but it came to nothing. A few shouts from the other riders, and they didn't want to box around this golden kilometre. The 4 riders in front will battle that out and get some bonus seconds. If they can time trial well tomorrow, who knows? They might stand a chance of a leader's jersey. It's happened in the past, but just when it looks so kind of animated in front, it looks so easy at the back of the bunch here. As we start to get a little bit closer to this golden kilometre, and we'll be on it in the next few kilometres.
Yeah, in fact, in 2.8. Message pod now of Bora, just keeping up the back end, as you can see, out of the saddle, and indeed pushing on today. It's that intermediate. I'm sad that it's not actually going to be duped out, but by the main players here. In fact, there'll be no bonus seconds left for the golden kilo today, by the looks of things, and it's going to be between this quartet. If they finish strongly, and frankly, they've got some very strong riders here, this is going to bode very well for the likes of Elmar Reinders, just 25 years of age, Piet Allegard, just 22 years of age. They're finding themselves in elevated company, and indeed will be high up on the ranking at the end of today, which bodes well for the likes of Sport Vlaanderen and Roompot, and indeed Wanty Group Gobert with Mark McNally, not forgetting Astana's Lawrence de Vries, who's on the front of this quartet at the moment. McNally just behind him in the navy blue with the green caplets on his sleeve, the orange of Elmar Reinders, and then the youngster of the group, Piet Allegard, who I think is looking very, very good. He was the man we were telling you about who got himself a solid top 20 in the Paris-Roubaix, 17th he was. So as the classics races start to reveal themselves at the end of this race, he's going to be very well placed. It shows, Brian, that being in a breakaway can pay dividends. We've got some riders here who will be very much concerned about this golden kilometre, and indeed embedding themselves at the top of the order by the end of the day. They could keep up, and indeed later on I'm talking about when the time gaps are imposed or not. If they finish amongst the leaders, they're going to be very well placed and thinking about a breakaway tomorrow as well.
Yeah, tomorrow I think it'll be doubtful of a breakaway in the time trial.
Stage
but,
3.
Yeah, we'll have to
Individual
wait
time
and see
trials.
that. Yes.
Sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, exactly. but you never know. They might
be taking my morphine.
And do you know what? You don't share that. That's probably a good thing. Yes, individual time trial, forgive me, tomorrow, 9 kilometres in length. And then, of course, we ride on deeper into this race with 2 more sprinters' days. One to Ardoy, so keeping it in Belgium, or back in Belgium. And then Lanigan, the Lanigan Loop. That sounds like a dance. Of 154 kilometres for stage 4. And then it goes Amstel Gold, Liège-Bastogne-Liège and Flanders to finish off. And it will finish a few off. These guys, though, well and truly alive.
Yeah, number 1 coming up here for the Golden Kilometre.
So the Golden Kilo starts at 23.4 kilometres out, but looks like they may well. So there it is. There's the finish line for the first. So 3, 2 and 1 bonus seconds. They're going to get lively. Now there are ways of handling this. Do you power all the way through? Do you continue your sprint, or do you have 3 separate sprints, Brian? What's your strategy?
Well, what we've seen in the past is they've sprinted kind of flat out for the first one. Second one, they've been a little bit more tired, and then by the end, it's who's got the strength left. But so it does look as if they might have decided to kind of share these out. So De Vries is taking the first one here.
Oh, come on, fellas. Well, this may well be a bit bugging job by Pierre Allegard. Now, if he goes through the next one, he's then got to sustain it for, 350 metres to take 2. Is he going to get greedy? First one has gone to Laurens de Vries. Now, he was the man who got mugged at the Primus checkpoint, which doesn't count for time. So he's just picked up 3 seconds. 2 seconds has gone to Wanty's Mark McNally. And indeed, Reinders just behind picked up the 1, so no seconds at all for Pierre Allegard, who took the Primus a little bit earlier on. He's having a toot at the moment. That looks like an air bridge too far for some. I think they may have laid it down as an angle for the helicopter.
Swapping, De Vries is taking all these points. He's probably one of the best time trialling, and he's been set to the front to make the effort, so he'll get all 9 seconds. McNally and Reinders are swapping second and third between them. I don't really think Allegard is too interested in taking any bonus seconds, so they're kind of swapping it for second and third place, but the win is all going to De Vries with 9 seconds.
Brian, I'm mildly disappointed.
Oh, well, that's what happens. You put in something like that in a race, and people get smart to it. And why should they bother attacking each other? They've got 1:30.7 with just over 20 kilometres to go.
Yeah,
that was a big effort to De Vries. Now they go full gas and try and see if they can make it to the finish now.
Let's see if they do.
Modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation. Is this where we come to compete? This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. I'll put mine back on.
Let's go compare. Find your perfect deal from many, or they don't make a single penny. I wouldn't recommend you look elsewhere. Go compare. When winter chills cut fuel bills with Go compare. For insurance, home or motor, they're just the place to go to. You know you can rely on Go compare. Check them out, without a doubt, they're right up there. Their unbiased information could save millions plus
Jack.
Forever young, since 1957.
Fiat 500 range starts from £145 a month plus initial rental.
Look at that. So easy. That's what you call a confident penalty. Reel him in. Oh, he's a big one as well. Unbelievable. And so's this. Make sure you put it back though. Available from App Store and now Google Play. When the fun stops, stop.
Everybody has passed by the start-finish line for the penultimate time. We've just heard the bell. The breakaway did not contest the golden kilo. They shared it out. And in fact, the man who took the lion's share out there was Astena's Lawrence de Vries. They then had a little bit of swapping of bonuses with Mark McNally and Elmo Reinders coming through to take enhanced seconds at the two final elements of that three-phase golden kilometre. If I explain that well. Meanwhile, there is the not too small matter of the Primus checkpoint sprint. The man who didn't take bonus seconds out there was the youngster Piet Allegard, because the Primus checkpoint sprint gets beer. And it's sponsored by Primus, and he's 22 years of age and he wants a party. So I expect he may well be taking the Primus sprint. However, we are teeing ourselves up for one hell of a sprint finale with the likes of Kittel, Greipel, Damar, Viviani, Sagan, Drucker, Groenewegen, Bauhaus, Gardini, Kerkelaer, Barbier, Van Lerbeker. I could go on. It is a whole raft of sprint talent that's about to do its stuff for us, Brian.
There is, and it was nice to see the breakaway communicate with each other, and obviously Mark McNally speaking a little bit of Dutch now, and obviously two Belgians in the break, Dutch kind of common language and things like that. They've kind of sorted this out that they would fight for maybe the first Primus sprint, which they did. They know the ranking order. And then they kind of shared out the bonus sprints. They know by the end of the Eneco Tour it's not going to make any difference. None of them outstanding time trialists, so I very much doubt that they would be looking to take their bonuses into tomorrow and try and take the jersey. So instead of racing each other, and they could have lost 30-40 seconds, saving their energy, sprinting against each other. What they've decided to do was, and quite intelligently as well, that they wouldn't waste any energy on any of these sprints. They would try and race towards the finish and foil these sprinters teams, and that's why the sprinters teams have had to up their game and really start to race these guys down.
Yep, Brian Smith with the voice of strategy, in fact, was indeed the coach. Of course, for us during both the Giro and the Tour de France here on your home of cycling, Eurosport. 18.4 kilometres then from home, minute 15. Doing a good job of hanging out there, but hanging I think they will be fairly soon. We've got our second Primus sprint coming up in about 1200 metres time. They've placed the barriers rather well, conveniently here. If I had to guess, I'd say that Piet Allegard is going to be going through to get that Primus sprint. Doesn't carry any bonus seconds, but it's a separate competition. The black jersey competition looks quite chic to be honest. But yes, we're throwing our minds further down the road here to the grand finale. Wendy Superfan, who's dialed in from Taz. Hello, Wendy. She said they'll all be working for Magnus Cort Nielsen, Orica Scott, that is. And you're right, Wendy, and they've got one heck of a lead-out train as well. What about Team Emirates? What can Ben Swift do today? And Marco Comfort Gardini?
Yes, Gardini, I've not seen what he's been up to, but Swifty is certainly on some form. I think it's always going to be difficult against the top sprinters. You've got to remember Kittel's here, and this is a big race for Quick Step Floors. You see that they're piling in with the Team Dimension data at the front of the peloton, keeping it well out of trouble. But with so many good sprinters, I don't know who they're going to go for. I think this would be a sprint for Gardini today.
Here we go, Primus sprint going off, and it looks like Rompot and Elmar Reinders wants the beer. But does he want it as much as the youngster Piet Allegard? And the answer is possibly no. So Piet takes it, and he'll be in a black jersey tomorrow. Job done by the youngster, 22 years of age.
Yeah, this is a competition they can win, and that's why they're sprinting for it. And but the golden kilometre, I don't think it's benefiting anybody, so they decided to keep it together. But this was a long one from the Rundfahrt rider Reinders, but the Neil Pro from Sport Flandern, Allegert, takes maximum points, and he'll be in that black jersey tomorrow.
Yep, he will. Good for him. Well, we said it's beer money as well. You get weighed, and they give you your weight in beer. A minute and 4 and 2, and indeed that clock coming down, is it? No, just bouncing around that at the moment with 16.4 to go. Sprinters team's getting themselves into shape. There are 2 roundabouts only. That's about the only thing that is out there to disturb them on the approach. It's a pretty arrow straight road, more or less all the way in from about 6k's out, Brian.
It is, they've had a chance twice already to see the run in towards the finish. You can just see the blue jerseys of Quickstep, Kittel up towards the front, Mark Renshaw looking after Reinhard van Rensburg, and the South African champion has got the other South African on his wheel, thinking of the sprint finish here, and that's Ryan Gibbons.
We'll see. So Ryan Rensburg will be doing some work either for Gibbons or for Christian Sparagli. I think it's Gibbons would be the choice today. What do you reckon?
In this type of sprints, I think Christian, maybe a little bit of a hillier sprint would suit him better, and he will have opportunities later in this race.
We'll see. Sky starting to muster, as you can see. This is for Eli Viviani. Their lead-outs today will be Vinyovski, old Lukash himself, with Owen Dool and John Dibben. They're a strong pairing, Dool and Dibben, who entertain us royally when it comes to track racing as well. Well, they're here as part of the engine room, and in fact Sky's starting to make a break for space at the moment. Viviani went very, very early in London, in fact got himself out into the centre of the road, into the wind, and faded, I think, rather too quickly for his own liking. Timing probably going to be a little bit better today, but he's got a lot of rivals out here that want to do well. This is sterling work that's being done by all of the quick men's teams, and Orica Scott, over to the right-hand side of the road, left-hand side of your picture, are amongst them, to say the least. In fact, I think they've got the best lead-out train, possibly, bar Andre Greipel. Can Greipel use it today, though? That's the big question, with Jesper de Bois, Nico Mace, Marcel Ziberg, all working for him hard, but, well, quick-step floors as well, with Max Richese, superstar lead-out for Kittel. Now, if you're looking for superstar lead-outs, what about Jacopo Ganieri for Arnaud Demar and Francis Dejeux? Watch out for the bleu, blanc et rouge. And in fact, there is Demar, almost immediately showing his French champion's colours to us. Hard to pick, Brian.
It is. Just got a glimpse of Ryan Mullen, the Irish champion, up towards the front doing his job for Cannondale on his birthday, after finishing third in the European time trial just last week. So nice to see him doing that. But looking at Team Sky, you just mentioned there, they've also got Danny Van Poppel, who won a stage of Poland. And I think this sprint probably suits him a little bit better. He already had the better of Sagan there, so Danny Van Poppel might be an opportunity. Maybe, I think Danny Van Poppel, if I was Team Sky, would look at that option. In this type of finish, maybe Viviani could be thrown in the mix. Maybe they could go with a two-pronged attack, but because I think Danny Van Poppel would be the better of the two.
48 seconds, breakaway still hold, let's not forget. These guys can't afford to ease back on the pace. We just see Kittel there, mouth the gate, looking like he's got the usual nerves at this time. He usually delivers, though, with a burst of emotion afterwards. Did it 5 times at the Tour de France, we remind you. We're going to take our final commercial break right now on this long straight approach with 13.1 to go.
What is this place?
A modern software factory, a hub of digital transformation. Is this where we come to compete? This is what you build to compete, where insight drives experience, where automation delivers better apps faster, where agile isn't just a buzzword, it's a way of life.
What about security?
Strong, yet frictionless. All working together at scale. It's about moving to new from old.
Oh, that's not right. Put mine back on.
Jim by tie. Togetherness.
business was an important decision. With so many options, I had to choose the right one. At Panorama, we're here to support you every step of the way. Benjamin, my account manager, was brilliant. If you find a better deal, even after ordering, they'll match it.
Transform your business with a brand new pickup truck in 2017. We've got amazing deals, all with fast free delivery. And we can fit a range of accessories.
I'm fine. It's just a scratch, that's all. It's nothing serious. No. Stop fussing. It'll sort itself out. There's no need to call a mechanic. Oh, dear.
If your car is written off, you can choose between a replacement, paying for an upgrade, or the money.
Oh, yes. There's nothing a bit of duct tape won't fix.
Churchill, depend on the dog.
Your odds from William Hill lets you create and bet on your own markets. Tweet us direct from the William Hill app or from Twitter and we'll reply with the odds. Join over 200,000 Your Odds customers and view their markets. Spot something you like? One click. It's in your bet slip and you're on. More markets, more choice, more control. William Hill. This is more.
Toby is doing a big wee down the stairs. Because he just earned a reward night with Hotels.com.
Sure did, Captain Obvious.
So it's a great morning. And rewards on your work trips too. Great morning to you. Wrong ad, Howard. Great morning to you. Hotels.com. Rewards worth coming back for.
24 seconds only, our breakaway advantage over the pack, and look at them, they're mobbed across the road. Both Brian and I think Marcel Kittel is the man today, but I'm letting Brian have that dib. I'm going for Peter Sagan because I think it'll get rough. Why? Because it's not a very technical finish today, and so, to my mind, that means plenty of options for all of the teams, and you can see the racked colour order. You can barely see any of the asphalt underneath these guys because, frankly, there's no room. When there's no room and a lot of road to play with, that means we're all close together, and that means touches of wheels. You saw it in the Europeans. I think we may well have the same problem here today. So, bike handling skills to the fore. So I'm going for Sagan, although Marcel Kittel, the bounce back after the Tour de France, Brian says it's going to be today. I think he may well be right. No disrespect to the other amazing sprinters that we've got here. And look at it, 9.5 kilometres to go, and the approach pace is at its highest. These guys, I'm afraid, all credit to them, Brian. They've performed well today, particularly for the invitee teams, non-World Tour teams, who three of whom are represented here. They've done their job.
Yeah, they have, and that's what their sponsors will be happy with. McNally just in front there for Wanty Group Gobert. And then you've got De Vries, the only World Tour represented in the four riders in front, and he's picked up 9 seconds today. If he can do a good time trial, who knows what can happen later in this race. Reinders and Allegaar both have done well, and you know, for the likes of Sport Flandre and Rompot and Wanty, this is sort of race that gives a lot of publicity for the teams.
Just under 9 kilometres to go, a couple of roundabouts to deal with. You're looking at the head of the race right now. They're holding 21 seconds. But really, this is at the behest of the sprinters' teams. Interesting that the yellow, or the gold and black of Lotto Jumbo starting to get themselves into position for Dylan Groenewegen, who's on something of a high, especially after, of course, the great work he did up the Champs-Élysées to take the final stage of the Tour de France. Andre Greipel would like to make amends for that, after riding through the entire race to get to the grand finale. The first time in 7 years of Grand Tour racing, a Grand Tour that he's been part of, he's failed to win a stage. So Greipel wants to reimpose himself, let's put it that way. He describes Marcel Kittel as the greatest sprinter on planet Earth at the moment. Well, let's see if that's the case today. Out to spoil the fun, Dimension Data are here towards the front. You can see they've got their aero helmets on as well, nice and smooth. Will it be at the end? Probably not. But Christian Spragley and Ryan Gibbons are their chosen sons, dead centre in the yellow and black, working for Dylan Groenewegen. And there is that impressive Orica Scott train working for Magnus Cort Nielsen, the Aussies are today. And frankly, they look ominous over on the right-hand side of the road. Spearing up through the middle comes Plankart, Rick Zabel, guided, I'm sure, by Tony Martin on a goodly approach. But Behrmans is doing some work, and Mads Wirtz Schmidt, likewise, for Katusha at the moment, centre of the road. 7.7 to go, 20 seconds, it doesn't look like much at the moment. We're on a little bit of a drag at the moment, Brian.
Yeah, 20 seconds now, just inside the last 7.5 kilometres now, and the peloton have got their prey in sight, so there's no real danger. They're riding just for road space. They're riding just to keep the team together. Still a way to go to start the full lead out at 7.5 kilometres, so they want to be there, and that's why they're riding pretty much across the road. But just see the face of Lawrence de Vries here. He's given it absolute everything, as you would, been in the breakaway all day and kind of trying to hang on, but it's going to be to no avail because the sprinters are going to have their day.
Well, he's got a decent sprint on him himself in days to come, which means he's likely to keep himself up towards the 4. No idea how much how much his efforts today are going to be a big cost. There's the only turn, essentially. That's at 6.7, I thought it was, kilometres from home. So it's more or less straight with a couple of straightish roundabouts to contend with. By that I mean that they'll just be going straight over them, essentially. So here comes the pack, funneled left and right hand side of the road. Right the busiest, left the freest but the longest distance, so take your pick. 15 seconds it's down to at the moment. Yeah, De Vries was actually runner-up in the Paris Tour a few years ago when he burst into our consciousness as a youngster. He was only 21 when he did that. And so, yeah, I think sort of time running out for greatness for him. But he's in the breakaway today. He's picked up bonus seconds, as you've seen, in the Golden Kilo. In fact, he's got 6 to his name for that, possibly a few more, actually, once you add them up. There we are, 9, thank you very much. Brian's on it. So, yeah, good for him. He'll be well placed for the time trial tomorrow, and he's not a bad time trialist either. 6.1 kilometres to go, 13 seconds then. The break looks doomed. And finally, Lotto Soudal put their nose in the wind. Marcel Seberg, Nico Mees, Jesper de Boist, now on principal duties, of course, working for Andre Greipel. So, can Andre do the job today? You can see him just maintaining his position rather nicely with the teammates racked around him. He does tend to lose them on the approach. Let's hope it doesn't do so today. Kronewagen's gold and black men as well. Waspish dead centre, hoping to sting all of those around them. Jeppe Drucker for BMC in the black and red. Edward Toons for Trek Segafredo. Arnaud Demar's gone quiet for Francis de Jeux, but they're starting to muster on the left-hand side of the road. So right as you look at it, behind that flaring light of the motorcycle, as they come into the dappled sunshine of this arboreal cover here. Trees offering up a bit of shelter, but it's going to be spotlight time for everybody. And Phil Bauhaus's men have speared up the centre here. Team Sunweb not to be outdone. Tom Dumoulin, who's thinking about the entire race here. Well, why not? Soren Kragh Andersen, the big Dane as well, can help out Phil Bauhaus on his ambitions. Took a stage on the Dauphiné. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Surprised a lot of people there and surprised a lot of good sprinters. But these 4 riders kind of hanging on to a very slender advantage. 5 kilometres to go, and all the teams vying for the front of the field now.
A square of trees that have been harvested here, allowing a little bit of bright sunshine as they come back into the long shadows, already long. Despite the fact that we're over the solstice, are we not? The days are starting to shorten, and indeed so today, 4.6 kilometres only, and those who I think are going to be principals at the end of today are already where they need to be. Arnaud Demar looks a bit locked in at the moment, and there's not much is going to change on the approach. It's hard to move up, Brian, when there's no road space to play with.
Can't move up, and that's why they're doing it. They're in position, but they're trying to kind of mob the road. So the only thing you can do if you're out of position is not panic. Just stay there, because I think with about 3 kilometres to go, a team will start to accelerate. When they start to accelerate, gaps open up, but then you're going to have your team to move you up. But at the moment, nobody's reacting. Everybody's kind of blocked in. You just see Demar right in the kind of middle, about 7 rows back now. Nowhere to move until they start racing full gas in the front. Then there's not a lot you can do.
Fantastic moment there. And there's a conversation going on, and Demar was basically asking Marc Serrault, what the hell are you doing? Get up there. And he put his arm out front in a very sort of Gallic way and said, look, where do you want me to go then? So they're arguing at Francis de Jure. That doesn't bode well. Mind you, adrenaline is a strange thing, and anger can generate that. So let's see whether the Arnaud Devar and the French tricolor will come to the front. But arguments, Brian, because their lead-out train is basically in bits at the moment.
Yeah, that's what you're waiting for. You have to be in position maybe 20 kilometres out and just sit there quite patiently. But what they're hoping now, fingers crossed for France de Dieu, they started up the tempo. You just see it starting to increase the pace, and the right-hand side, Trek have started it, and the left-hand side you've got the red of Lotto Soudal, and now the pace is starting to increase. It'll start to kind of spearhead the front of the peloton, and when that starts to spearhead a little bit more, gaps will start to appear, and gaps that France de Dieu will have to try and come through now.
Well, they're trying their level best to move into those positions, and Francis de Jure, it's Mathieu Ladagneau who's first battering ram call for them. Andre Greipel's men in the red and white on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, it's Trek working for Edvard Turns, who is a decent time trialist, a good classics man. I think possibly one of the sort of outside favourites for the entire race itself. There you are, that's Battle Plan's writ early, and it's opened up dead centre, as you can see, and it's Sunweb that are going to try and come through. That's Phil Bauhaus, who's only got Mike Turnison as his lead-out man. Maybe he doesn't want any more than that. Turnison just gets to the fore and opens up some space here, and straight into that gap go Team Katusha with Plancart and Rick Zabel not that far off the nose right now. Bora with their with that rather familiar aquamarine, if you like, with the world champion Peter Sagan just lurking. He's P3 back from that. I expect to see the rainbow jersey up towards the fore. I think when it gets rough, Peter Sagan is always an option. He's my pick for the day. Where is Marcel Kittel? He's out of position at the moment. P3, look at him, there he is. Centre of your screen right now. Where are his teammates around him? He's only got 1,800 metres to go. It doesn't look like Kittel's going to have some fun today. It's going to get brutal. 1,700 metres to go then. We could do with a longer shot on the approach here. Good work as well by Cannondale, working extraordinarily well. I see that Seth Van Mark's in a good position. Should things get a bit sketchy. UAE also getting involved. 1,500 metres to go. We're nearly there, Brian.
Yeah, the easiest thing to do is to pick a side of the road and keep your train there, because everybody's trying to come through the middle. So you just see Lotto Soudal on the left-hand side. They're starting to move over. They're trying to fight for the side of the road now through this roundabout.
There we go. Last roundabout out and done and dealt with. And that was good work. Good bullying work by Lotto Soudal. They're in a great place. Bora just behind them. Orica, they set their stall out very, very early. It's alarm bells for everybody else. This is a long, long grab, I'm afraid, by Dylan Groenewegen. He's out of position as they go under the Flamme Rouge. He's in the wrong place right now. There it is. So 900 metres it says as Binckbank write their name large. Somebody today is going to be on the top step, but we don't know who, with 0.8 of a kilometre, 800 metres, 700 metres right now, and we're already up to speed.
Yeah, just see further down out of position, you can see the blue jerseys coming up, Kittel coming up very, very late, but is it going to be too late? Because so many riders, including the world champion, are in good position.
Trek Segafredo in a superb position as well. The world champion Peter Sagan is in a handy place right now. Phil Bauhaus is also there. It's got messy. There's been a little bit of elbow work down there. Can't quite see, but here we can right now. So Sagan, where's he going to go? Kittel's absolutely nowhere. In the mix here as well is Vipper and Erzberg. There they are in the green. Groenewegen's trying to find space, can't find any. Plancart's there for Team Katusha. It's an absolute mess. Here's the kink in the road, and Bauhaus picks it up and goes centre stage. Bauhaus down the line, but Sagan's next to him. Bauhaus versus Sagan. Who's going to get there first? Oh, you know what? I think it's the world champion.
I think it's a photo finish.
Certainly is that.
Reacted to it. They're still looking.
Wow, Bauhaus, great finish by him. Groenewegen too late to the party. Peter Sagan, I think, got that, the world champion. That's where the camera's staying right now. What a sprint finish that turned out to be. It was brutal. Some big names found themselves out of position and out of contention.
Yeah, it was a really messy sprint in the end. Many of the top sprinters were absolutely missing in action, but here we're seeing it from the side. A very close one between the world champion and the far side, and Phil Bauhaus, the German rider for Sunweb, and it looks like...
Oh, well,
who knows?
There's a switch over at the line. That was absolutely remarkable, Brian.
Magnus Cort and then Groenewegen.
Wow, what a finish.
Looks like Tynes is up there.
Well, we'll wait for official confirmation. By the look of that, it could be either of them. Certainly the fastest finisher was Phil Bauhaus. But let's have a look from above right now. Peter Sagan, left-hand side of your screen at the moment, still just not fully committing himself until now. It was Jesper the Boyce that found himself off and alone up front. Here goes Sagan with Bauhaus on his case. Bauhaus goes centre, crown of the road. Sagan on the left-hand side. It's between those two, and at the line, I think Bauhaus on the lunge, you're right.
Bauhaus.
Nobody wanted to claim it, and Sagan thought about offering up a handshake there, and then thought I'd get it, and thought better of it. Cameron's with him, but he's shaking the head. I think it's Bauhaus.
Yeah, but it's all in the lunge. We've seen this before. We've seen this in the tour. You got it. It's all in the lunge.
Well, you know, I should have stuck with my instincts, Brian. Why do I listen to you all the time? Peter Sagan, then, it is that takes this stage. This is a man who is out there, and he's got a bit of grit about him at the moment, hasn't he?
Yeah, that was so close. It was down for how many photo finishes we've seen these days. But it's all in the lunge. We can see that even in the tour. It's where you throw the bike.
Gosh,
Obviously Bauhaus just got it fractionally wrong.
I don't know where the big fella finished, but
he was well out of it. He was out of position. I think he sat up. You can see him in the running sitting up. He was in about 20th position.
What a day, what a finish. Bauhaus just pipped out the line. Peter Sagan went long and handsome. World champion, riding like one. Good start.
Yeah, nice start. Messy sprint though, all about being patient and in the right place.
Peter Sagan takes it ahead of Phil Bauhaus, Magnus Cort Nielsen. Dylan Groenewegen got up for 4th place ahead of Danny Van Poppel, Rick Zabel. Greipel, of all the principals we named, best of them, I guess you might say, no disrespect to Groenewegen. Greipel finishing 9th. De Maar out of position, started arguing with his own team, seen that before. And indeed, Quickstep Floors did so much work, but Marcel Kittel found himself isolated again. Super drama at the end here in our run into Venray. Tomorrow we're at Voorburg. 9 kilometres of time trialling to be taken on. And we'll see. Marcel Kittel found himself in an uncomfortable place there, Brian, but he wasn't alone amongst the big names.
Yeah, he was just tracking up there. He was at about 30th position at that point. But when they're going full gas at the front, very difficult. You're sprinting now, and you've still got to sprint at the end. You see some of the blue jerseys looking behind. Where are you? See Peter Sagan just nipping round the Lotto Rider on that roundabout, just chopping in front of him to get onto his lead-out train. Decides to let another Lotto Rider in front of him. Decides to sit up and let his teammates, his lead-out man, try and go for it in a sneaky one. But it was Cannondale was wise to this one with Orica Scots. And Sagan just started his sprint now. He was tracked all the way by Bauhaus. Unfortunately for the Lotto Rider, couldn't hang on here, but Bauhaus done a very good sprint here. And looking from the head on, when he threw his bike at the line, you could think, coming. He was slightly in front, but it's that throw that Sagan's done so many times that won it by how much? 1 thousandths? 1 thousandths of a second.
You gotta love it. Thanks for your company. What a day. What a finish. Tomorrow we time trial here at the Binckbank. The Binckbank Tour rolls on. Individual time trial, 9 kilometres tomorrow around Voorburg. Will it be Peter Sagan with his victory wheelie, which he's just doing right now, by the way? I don't think so tomorrow, but he's our leader going into stage 2. We expect your company from me, Carlton Kirby, and from Brian Smith. We'll see you then.